and welcome to another episode of So You Think That Was Good, Do You? A podcast where we take a look back at the films from your childhood and question the absurdity of their universes. This week, we watched the 1997 classic Men in Black, starring Tommy Lee Jones and keep my wife's name out of your goddamn mouth, Smith. My name is Evan, and as always, I'm joined by Sam and Cole. Episode number 30, boys. A lovely download milestone this week. How are you both doing?
Oh, I've been higher energy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Technically this is day 3 of attempting this, isn't it?
You're not wrong. Yeah, so to explain our low energy attitude up front, we saw each other this weekend. We do not all live in the same place, so we met up where you live, Sam.
It was a trek.
It was a bit too much drinking. Yeah, we failed to record in person. Couldn't do it yesterday. I tried to put it off again today, but here we are.
Always seems like a good idea to drink during the movie.
Yeah.
Never is.
No.
But, let's see how this turns out.
Here we go. Carl, you've not said anything. I need to know how you're doing.
I'm sober for this one, and that is just not feeling right, mate. I drank too much with you two, and I wanted to take a couple of days off.
Yes, I've drank so much. I'm done drinking now. I've pulled a Mrs. Mum from Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm done. Lovely.
Drink our way through to the other side.
Cheers. Shall we get started? As usual with a plot synop.
Please.
They're the best kept secret in the universe. Working for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency, K&J are the Men in Black, providers of immigration services and regulators of all things alien on Earth. While investigating a series of unregistered close encounters, the MIB agents uncover the deadly plot of an intergalactic terrorist who is on a mission to assassinate 2 ambassadors from opposing galaxies currently in residence in New York City. I suppose that's the movie I watched.
Not the fucking movie I watched. That's about half the movie I watched.
I feel like it's remarkable that it's such kind of a memorable and popular movie when so much of the plot goes at least completely over my head. It's all that stuff about ambassadors of different planets. I can't remember that. It's just a big old cockroach man, isn't it?
Yeah, Edgar kills those 2 aliens, but the movie wasn't about those.
Well, it was kind of
about the little one with the tiny nibbles, yeah.
The actual driver for the plot gets shoved pretty far to the side.
Oh, yeah. We can't let people know it's a cockroach man already. Mystery human assailant for sure.
Right, he's got the funniest shoes on. That's all you need to know for now.
Okay, I'm sorry for everyone listening who I've just spoiled the first third of the film for. But if you haven't seen it, probably stop listening here. But to avoid any more brutal spoilers like that, shall I dive into the plot?
Ah, yes. Take us through bit by bit.
Wonderful. We open with a very long opening credits scene of a bad CGI dragonfly sort of swooping around the credits, and I think smashing into the front of a truck. I didn't remember this, by the way, from my childhood watching this.
Now, there are 3 opening scenes to this movie, each one establishing a different character, but all acting as the opening to the movie. The movie could have begun at any point and then continued on to Kay being introduced.
Exactly. For a movie with so many opening scenes, I think this incredibly unnecessary one probably could have been skipped. But yeah, following the opening scene, we get the opening scene where Kay, I don't think we know his name's Kay yet, but it is Tommy Lee Jones and his phenomenally old partner.
Yes, so it's Agent D, which must stand for Agent Dementia, because he does not know what is going on.
Should not be AD, that is a BC for sure.
So the 2 agents that we're sort of partially introduced to drive up to a Border Patrol traffic stop which is taking place. And they are there's a bunch of cops that are arresting some what we assume to be illegal immigrants. Then 2 blokes drive up in suits and say, "Hi, we're from this division that you've never heard of. We'll take it from here." And the cops, despite not believing a word of this, just stand aside and go, "Oh, I guess we have to do that now." because we were told to by people in suits. So they go up to the line and they identify the one that we will soon find out is an alien, and they drag him off to the side of the road. They take him about, 20 meters off the side of the road away
Not
from
far enough.
the civilians. Absolutely not far enough. It was a very short walk. I mean, to be fair, the partner needs to take his Zimmer frame with him, so he couldn't have gone that far. But they take him off the side of the road and cut open the fake human body to reveal that it's Mikey the alien holding an animated head on a stick. What seems like quite a civilized alien.
Hey, Mikey! The boy!
Hey, Mikey.
Yeah.
Quite a civilized, friendly-ish alien.
For now.
Sees that one of the police has taken the 3 steps off the side of the road to see what was going on and charges him, screaming.
Yeah.
And we get this kind of... It's sort of like a Monty Python and the Holy Grail level of running and screaming.
Oh, it goes
for
on
an
for a long
insanely
time.
long
But
time.
it's important because it emphasizes Agent Dementia having forgotten where he was and why he's there, because he does not grab his gun, and Kay is waiting for him to do that, but he's looking round for a signpost to remind him where he is.
Absolutely. Agent D has fallen and he can't get up. And he's sort of fumbling around until Kay just takes it on himself, gets his gun out, blasts the alien into a pile of properly 90s goop.
Yeah, and 10 minutes into this movie, and we've ticked all the boxes for the quotas that movies were made for at this point, which is have a bug-themed opening and bad guy, and goop.
Goop quotas filled already.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So anyway, they obviously the police have seen the alien now and all the goop, which is clearly not of this world. So they get a cleanup team in, and Kay goes up and pulls out the memory wiper. I didn't catch the name of this.
The Neuralyzer.
Neuralyzer, that's the one. Got it.
That's because you were looking at it when it flashed, mate. Ugh. God.
Very good. But speaking of looking at it, I had a little rewatch before recording, and I paused on when it zoomed in on the Neuralyzer because I wanted to see what the buttons were on the back. So he holds it up and he flashes the police's memory away. When they zoom in on the buttons, it's got 3 dials on it, and they're listed as minutes, hours, and weeks, which, first of all, weird jump to make.
Yeah.
But secondly, the weeks dial just has days of the week written on it.
Yeah.
No, Jen, you can go back and check this. So you can set minutes and hours, or you can pick a day of the week that their memory, I guess, will be reset to.
Can I lose the last most recent hour and the previous Tuesday all at once?
I think so.
Is that how that works? Just do 2 at once?
I mean, it's hours, minutes, and weeks. And at the end of the film, jumping ahead, Will Smith takes off 35 years of this guy's life. So God knows how many times he had to flash him back to last Tuesday.
Well, Kay says that it's years, months, days at the end of the film. Yeah, because when we were together, Cole, you said, so the minimum you can do is a day, which is insane.
Yeah. He says that at the end of the film. He says it's days, months, and years, which makes me think that that's what he thinks it is. And he's going around flashing 10 minutes off people's life and thinking that he's taken off days or weeks. And everyone's going around like, I don't really know how I got stood right here, but did you see all those aliens? That was mad.
So I met this alien. There's a 10-minute period in which I can't remember what happened.
Yeah, so that's my headcanon. He's got absolutely no idea how this thing works. It's like he's been exposed to it too many times and it's just fucked with his head. Oh, anyway, so he flashes the policeman, flashes a couple seconds off them, and then turns
That's
around
a crime.
and yeah, but luckily they've forgotten. And then he flashes his partner as well.
Yes, his partner realised that he's too old to do a job and asks to be flashed.
Who, as you've already said, completely unnecessary. This guy has a 10-second memory at best.
So what do they do with him at that point? Do they just leave him in the desert? Or do they just have to drive him back and keep flashing this old man who's lost 50 years of memory. Like, 10 seconds ago, I was 35 years old. And now I'm an old man in a desert.
Yeah, I'd love to see the next scene with him in it, but unfortunately we don't. I think most likely he's been put out to pasture.
Oh my god, those were the exact words in my head just now, Sam.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
We got good chemistry.
I've got evidence of that now.
So he wipes his partner's memory, and then we cut to the opening of the film, which is Will Smith being a rogue cop. He's a rogue cop, and he's chasing down a guy who looked at his wife wrong. Who, it turns out, is an alien dressed up as one of the Backstreet Boys.
And we can tell he's a cop because of his cop uniform, yeah?
Yeah, we can tell that he's a cop because he's wearing some sort of weird jumpsuit wrapped around his waist. Like, what the fuck
is a bright orange jumpsuit.
Bright orange jumpsuit. It looks like he's
the
just
opposite of what cops wear, yeah.
You're the opposite of a policeman.
He does dress like the only clothes he has are the ones he takes off of people he arrests.
Maybe it is, because this guy looks like one of the Backstreet Boys, and in the next scene, I'm pretty sure he's wearing some insane multicolored, like, I don't even know what to call it.
When he puts on the last suit he'll ever wear, he's just happy for more free clothes, I reckon.
He's a full-on scavenger. But he's chasing this guy who is an alien and who jumps off a building after doing a weird blink. So, obviously an alien.
Yeah. What I love about the opening of this is they, for far too long from here, need to have him just not believing that aliens exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this guy just scaled a building and jumped off a bridge and all is fine, but it was the little blink where he goes, something not quite right with you. And just going...
He literally watched the guy sprint up the side of a building.
Yeah, and for having a job, which is a completely evidence-based approach to work, it takes him far too long to finally be convinced that aliens are real.
He does have an inkling that something's off, so he speaks to the fellow police, I guess, who seem to have no respect for him, can't imagine why. He goes to the police station, explains his story, and then Kay shows up, and he takes him off to the jewellery store. They walk into the jewellery store together. The guy who's running it is... I mean, he doesn't look like an alien, but we find out that he's a bit funny looking, but not inhuman, until Kay blows his head off and with a gun, and, well, obviously with a gun. Don't know why I specified that. He blows his head off, and then it immediately grows back. With a trumpet. And it immediately grows back. And, like, he retains his memory, he's talking. It's like a weird little rat head that grows back to normal in about 5 seconds. If you had this power, you would not be hiding out as a dodgy jewelry store guy. I don't know what you'd be. Fucking superhero, supervillain, something.
Well, Kay does then say, I will shoot you where it doesn't grow back, which implies it's only his head that grows back.
It's only his head that grows back.
Pretty crap supervillain. You have to go around in just full body armour except the head, hoping to really...
If you had to pick one body part that would grow back if you got shot off. This is the game this week.
Oh, it's been so long since we did one of those.
Well, I feel like the obvious pick is, we're all going to say is dick, right?
I think I'd probably go head, but...
Yeah, I was going to say Evan's dick.
Okay. We'll all choose Evan's dick.
It still seems to be growing back.
It's a grower, not a shower.
Is that done growing back? Anyway, I did actually skip a bit, by the way. We skipped the bit where...
Yeah, the third opening to the movie.
Yeah, the next scene was the opening to the film, where the UFO lands in this abusive husband's front garden on his truck while he's busy verbally abusing his wife. And he heads out to have a look at what's going on. And then this quite articulate exploded cockroach takes over his body, basically, climbs into his skin. And then he heads back in the house with this kind of like...
Oh.
I mean, God, the makeup on him is fantastic.
Yeah, the makeup on it is incredible.
Well.
Oh, yeah.
Vincent
Vinny
D'Onofrio,
D does an incredible job, yeah.
He's the standout in this movie. Even when he's all dilapidated later on and it's all hanging off him, the way he moves and he gets out of the car is awesome. He's amazing.
What they did right from the start, though, to make it look like it is his skin being worn, I do not understand.
No, surely it's not CGI. It's got to be practical.
I mean, we saw the fly from earlier. It's not CGI.
Yeah. They do an amazing job. You're right, we do need to dwell on this a little bit. Both in the initial scene where it's like, we've just seen this guy, we know what he looks like, and now he looks the same, except he's got sort of, his skin just doesn't fit right.
Yeah, and there's a bit where his wife points it out, and he grabs the skin by the hair and pulls it tight.
Yeah, that's very Beetlejuice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And it's genuinely good CGI.
Yeah, and just then going through the film, the makeup they do to make that skin rot off him more and more.
Yeah, and it's really steady. Like, it's really like a gradual change.
Yeah.
Every scene you see him in, he's a bit more fucked up. His body's failing him a little bit more.
Sam, you proposed doing this for one of our Spoopy season episodes. I assume that the cockroach is why, because by the end of this, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
Specifically, one scene at the end of the film is why. It's the hands on your head scene, but we will get to that.
Yeah.
That's what stuck in my head.
Disgusting. Nice.
But we got a couple more opening scenes to get through. So, Agent K has wiped Will's memory now. I don't actually know what Will Smith's character's name is.
He gets
Jay.
I mean, it's not Jay at the moment.
I'm going to get into that in a second. Don't you worry. I've got a rant prepared.
Excellent. But for now, his name's Will Smith. So, Will Smith that gets shortened to Jay. So, Kay wipes his memory, but leaves him with a card saying, here, go to this interview tomorrow. He kind of creates a little fake backstory.
That is not what that card says.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What does the card say?
MIB. And that is it.
The most useless business card of all time. He had to write the address on the back. Also, the very nature of the Men in Black means you don't have business cards. Why would you... In what other situation does he need that?
Not only do they have business cards, they've got a professional logo.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Who's on the marketing team at Men in Black?
Who's the poor receptionist who got in 100,000 business cards and someone went, fuck, the address wasn't put on these. Do you mind just writing it on?
So yeah, we've got... I mean, look, we already know that previously K and D, soon to be J and K, are the only agents that are active in this company.
Right, okay. Now we're talking about the staff. This is a good moment for part one of my rant.
Excellent.
I need to address the K and J thing. So the agents' names are chosen, presumably, based on the first letter of the person's name who joins Men in Black. Because Will Smith's character's name is James, and K's name is Kevin. But surely they don't have multiple Agent J's, Agent K's, and all of that. That becomes confusing. So they can only have a maximum of 26 agents at any time. And the way the names are written down are K and J, actually with an A and Y in them, which means all of the other agents should be A, Bay, Say, Day, EA, it's in the game, and Faye, and so on. And so it really annoyed me that when we got to meet Agent Z, his name isn't Agent Z.
What annoyed me was when, because spoiler, Jay gets the job. We will go through it, but when they're adding him to the database, we see his full first, middle, and last name written out. He can't have already been in the database, so someone sat there, typed out his entire name, and then just started pressing the backspace over and over again until they got... Like, they couldn't work out the first letter of his name unless they typed the whole thing out.
I mean, so that is the case. I suppose we got to assume that they pull it off some secret database of everyone presumably exists. But that's not the thing that annoyed me about that scene. The thing that annoyed me is they backspace all the way through his full name that they've written out. Then they delete the J. Yeah. And then they write it again.
But you always do that, don't you? You hold backspace too long, it deletes more than you want. You gotta do it again.
But this is a secret group. I assume how much can they really have on him when they're saying everything you knew about you is now gone? Forget it all, it's all gone. So surely their database is just the alphabet. It's just a list saying A, B, C, D.
A to Z, brother.
Just A to Z. That's
26 lines long.
I'll go check the database.
Tell you what, hosting fees, super cheap. That's great. So, yeah, we've jumped ahead a touch, but let's get back to... So he's been given a virtually useless business card with an address written on it. He shows up and it turns out that it's an interview. So he walks into the room with no idea what's going on, sits down in those iconic chairs.
Oh, the eggs, yes.
No, I think you mean IKEA.
I wish they were at IKEA. I'd get them. No, I wouldn't.
No. The people who made those regretted putting them in the movie when they were shown to be the most uncomfortable chairs ever made.
So he sits down in the chair and he gets kind of not really briefed on where he is or why he's there. It's a very secretive interview. They're told that they're the best of the best of the best. And then they're handed a piece of paper. He immediately snaps his pen in half by accident, then tries to write while holding both halves of the pen. That annoyed me. Just throw away the top half and use the bottom half. But anyway.
To get to this point, something I think that's important to note is that Kay has just wiped Jay's memory of all the alien stuff that has just occurred, and Jay has turned up to this building with only the information on the business card. It's no fucking wonder that only 3 agents are active out of the 26 they're allowed to have. And also, everybody else in the building must be HR trying to interview people who have absolutely no knowledge of why they're there. Because that building's full of people.
Now that you say it, it is full of people.
There's people typing on, like some are doing like your immigration, your customs stuff and things like that. But there's plenty of people at desks.
None of them have any idea why they're there. They've woken up there, the last 40 odd years missing. They'll get flashed again at the end of the day. So we're back to the interview. They've filled in the written test, which we don't know what was involved in that. And then they get taken through into a gun range. No epilepsy warning here. The way that they test all these agents is they put a load of cardboard cutouts of aliens in front of them, flick the light switch on and off as quick as they can, and then get them to all shoot. Then after that test, they bring up the lights and they round on Will Smith. It turns out the only of the cutouts that he shot was a little girl who he shot square between the eyes, ignoring all the aliens. And his argument is that all of them were just hanging out. None of them were posing any threat. They're just like, one of them's up there just working out. One of them stood at the side. He looks like he might look a bit aggressive, but it just looks like he's hurt him,
Yeah.
And I thought it was nice of Will Smith to make a point about how if someone isn't actually causing you any harm, there's no need to attack them.
Fair. Didn't see that one coming. But yeah, I mean, in the context of this movie universe, he is right, isn't he?
Sort of.
I don't know. I don't know if the little girl needed shooting, but what I mean is he was the only one of the people there who thought at all. The rest just saw aliens and shot.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. From that point of view, yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Which wouldn't be the best first day if one of them were picked.
No, it would have been a bad first day. Although, to be fair, if he'd walked into the office and someone had brought their daughter to work and he shot the little girl through the head, maybe not the best first day for him either.
She was just doing her quantum mechanics homework.
But he does pass. He shoots little girl and therefore gets the job. So Kay shows up. All the rest of them get their memories wiped. God knows how much memory they lose. Nobody knows how to work those things. They've either lost years or seconds.
Or just a Tuesday.
They're just back on Tuesday, yeah. So he gets walked...
I can remember Wednesday to Monday, all Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday I've ever had is gone.
I had an interview for the Men in Black on Friday, I know that. Tuesday, gone.
Oh, I just woke up with this business card in my pocket and an address. Suppose I better head over there and find out what's going on.
Just showing up every day.
Oh, so they all get taken aside. Will gets walked down a corridor by Kay, who explains the backstory of Men in Black / Division 6 to him and says, yeah, aliens are about and we're here to manage that. Will doesn't believe him.
No, he says that's bullshit.
He says it's bullshit, and then Kay opens up the door to go and get a coffee and shows him what they call the worms?
I think so, yeah.
The little cheerful little worm aliens that are getting the coffee, and then proves to him that the aliens do exist.
Yeah, they get more screen time in number 2, I think. Both them and Frank are kind of glossed over in this one.
Them and Frank, I think, are the best, most
definitely.
memorable characters. So yeah, it's a shame they don't get more screen time in this, but yeah, they just serve to prove to him that aliens exist here. And then after that, bit of a shock, he takes him, sits him on a bench somewhere, I think. Sits him down on a bench and gives him the real briefing, what the job is, what he's going to do. And then Kay says, right.
Yeah, you've got 24 hours to decide if you want to...
You got 24 hours to decide. I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, Jay asks whether or not it's worth it. And Kay says, oh, yeah, absolutely. Every day is worth it. What is worth it about working at the Men in Black? You don't remember any of it at the end or have any life. You're just released out into the street.
He says it's absolutely worth it. And then, 3 days later, hands him a thing and says, please erase the last 35 years of my life. I'm miserable.
To be fair, it's understandable that he could be lying to him here because we find out that Kay is trying to replace himself with Jay the whole time, which I guess makes sense now.
To be fair, we've all been there in job interviews.
Yeah. Oh, it's great here. People are so friendly.
Men in Black is run like every Weatherspoons ever.
Friendly team. We all hang out outside of work. It's awesome.
We're a really dynamic and ambitious team.
I thought I was here to replace the last guy who left. No, you're replacing me. I'm going now.
Yeah.
This is your second day, but you're a supervisor now.
Please erase my memory. And now Will Smith sits on a bench for 8 hours straight.
So he says that to him, and then Will Smith sits there on the bench for the full 12 hours, like a fucking Skyrim character.
There's a
just sits
cycle.
There and waits as the day cycle progresses. Absolutely ridiculous. He's got nothing better to do. He still has a job.
Cut to Agent D wandering around the streets, not knowing what's going on.
A confused homeless old man walks past him.
Yeah. This is a Marvel movie because Men in Black's by Marvel, isn't it? This would be Stan Lee's scene if he'd done that character.
Exactly.
Where am I?
I used to fight aliens, Of course you did.
Have a penny, old man. Buy yourself a sandwich.
The next day, he does head into the office because he's convinced. So he heads into Men in Black office through the insanely huge fans. Don't know why they're there, but okay. He walks through a massive air conditioner, basically, and goes up the elevator into the offices, which, whoever was the architect, the designer of these offices, they designed them like an Apple store meets a sort of weird warehouse. Really strange aesthetic. But he goes through and he sees kind of alien customs, all the aliens being kind of checked in, and Kay explains to him that Men in Black makes its money by owning patents for microwaves and liposuction.
Yeah. And
I feel like someone would have checked.
He shows off this amazing new knowledge by showing us what will eventually place CDs when they release it. A much smaller CD. Oh, that's crazy alien tech, isn't it? A smaller disc?
Yeah, that's the kind of most high-tech... That's the most high-tech thing they could think of, except for a bouncy ball. Just a really bouncy ball.
See, this is just... The entire way they've decided they do their training in Men in Black just seems to be, we'll tell you when you fuck up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then we'll have a go at you. Because the first thing he's told when he arrives is, all the training you've had means fuck all now. And then there's no training.
Don't expect any for this.
Yeah.
Also, I'm quitting at the end of the day.
Just do what you want, and if you mess up, I'll tell you off. Yeah. If you smash the office up, I'll let you know. No induction video, nothing.
No contract.
So you've decided to join the Men in Black.
Yeah.
It's like a family here.
We work hard, we play hard.
Great progression opportunities. You'll be in charge in a week.
Oh, so then Kay is showing him round the office and showing him the inventions, showing him that celebrities are aliens, and they have kind of this random selection of 90s celebrities who are all apparently aliens.
Saw a couple on there.
Yeah. Apparently there were 1,500 aliens on the planet, and apparently most of them are in Hollywood.
That's convenient, isn't it?
One was George Lucas. One was Sylvester Stallone.
Spielberg was there.
I didn't see Spielberg.
Yeah, Stallone was there.
And
I
then
didn't catch any of those.
the one that was a geography teacher. Hollywood wasn't for her.
One teacher who they have a live stream of. Like, the others seemed like they were just... they happened to be on TV, so they had a stream of them. But they had a live stream in front of this woman's face.
I think we're about to prove that Men in Black has a live stream of everyone, because Kay's about to watch the woman he might have once loved very creepily soon.
It's in a little while, but he does. Anyway, next scene is him getting the suit. Really built a lot of build up to Will getting this suit. It's just a plain black suit.
And they look cheap too, because they got that shininess to them.
It's not great. It's kind of like a Primark suit.
Probably got nicer suits off people he's arrested.
It is better than anything he's worn so far. A horrific wardrobe in this movie. I'm sure they did all that so it would juxtapose the all-black suit that he's wearing now, and that was meant to mean something to us, but it's just nice not to be assaulted visually.
Right. So then, finally, he gets his full name erased down to just Jay. And finally, now, he's Jay. I can no longer call him Will. So we got J and K. Nice and easy.
And Zay and Day.
And he also gets his fingerprints melted off, which seems like a mild annoyance to him. That would definitely hurt way more than it seems to hurt him.
I wonder he dropped that bouncy ball.
Exactly.
A lot of stuff must slip out your hands once you've got your fingerprints melted.
Do you think that's what gives you grip?
It must help, right? Does that not help?
I suppose I never thought about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, surely the friction helps.
I mean, surely it's more helpful than just scars.
Although, actually questioning the knowledge in my brain right now, I think I previously believed that we all had the tiny hairs on our hands like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2002. Yeah.
Look, before you'd even said that, I think we were all thinking of that scene where they zoom in on his fingers in Spider-Man and the weird little black hairs come out. And it's like, he's got little black hairs. He can climb walls now. And we all thought, wow, is that it? Is that all that's stopping us from climbing walls? Anyway, let's not get stuck on that better movie. That arguably.
Well, we can actually thank this movie for that movie existing.
Can we?
Yeah, it was the success of this movie is what made Marvel start offering out their other properties to be made into movies.
Well, there you go. Good bit of trivia.
Which is why we got Spider-Man.
So we cut now back to Cockroach Man, and he's spying on just some guy with a cat. We don't really know anything other than that. While J and K go off on their sort of admin mission, it's a traffic stop. Cockroach Man follows this alien, follows him to a cafe where he's meeting up with another alien, pretends to be one of the servers, and then whips his, I don't know what it is, spiked tail out and kills them. Somebody else in the cafe you would have thought would have noticed, but apparently
I think they did. Because the waiter, the biggest hero in this movie, who should absolutely be in Men in Black, tries to stop Edgar after seeing him whip out the scorpion tail and stab it through both their throats. Just tries to like, hey bro, you're not going anywhere.
The problem is that guy's name is John, and they've already got a J.
That was literally what I was about to say.
Spot's
Lovely.
I mean, more than that, this waiter, our cockroach waiter, must have walked in, grabbed one of the other waiters, folded him in half in public, because that guy's not stowed away secretly.
No.
Yeah,
He's just
He was jammed in with things.
next to the kitchen
Also, I
hatch.
would have loved to have seen that.
him getting folded.
You can see that.
Folding a man in
It's in the
half.
Rocketeer.
Oh, that's the only good
I was
bit of that
trying
movie.
to remember
Yeah.
where the folding had happened. It's the Rocketeer, yeah. Our second ever folding antagonist. Folds a man up, stows him away. The full 180 degrees, or
Right.
whatever degrees that is. 0 degrees? I don't know. Doesn't
Would-
matter.
Doing Foldvember, we're only watching movies where somebody gets folded.
Oh, fantastic. So he kills the guys. The waiter tries to stop him,
Yeah.
and he manages to push past him, shockingly. Chooses not to fold him.
I just folded your mate in half, bro. Step aside.
I will fucking fold you.
You can't fold all of us.
Fold me now and I'll become more powerful than you can imagine.
But within this scene, we have the meeting between the aliens before he kills them, and in the original, the original cut, they were just speaking. I was going to say inhuman, but I'll just say in English. But they decided to change the story a little, which in order to not have to do reshoots, they just redubbed this scene.
Oh.
But they are in the middle of a packed restaurant speaking so loudly,
Yeah, they are.
where one of them sounds like the aliens from Toy Story.
Spot on.
And-
Yes.
Yeah,
Back
that's exactly what they sound like.
And the other one just sounds like pure evil in voice form. Just so loud, and no one's paying attention.
It is horrible. A really horrible scene to watch as well. The sounds and the movement of their mouths is very, very uncomfortable.
Right, so J and K are performing their first little mission, their first traffic stop. Turns out an alien is trying to drive his alien wife out of town for some reason so that she can give birth. And Kay tells Jay, you can deal with this, I'll just have a chat to him. He ends up getting battered around a car with a giant tentacle, which is presumably, I mean, it's a big tentacle.
Yeah. You think that's the wife, I
we
guess?
assume is coming out of her vagina.
I think you assume.
It fits
Maybe I
within the
just
lore
assume.
of this movie. There's a lot of what seem to be larger aliens fitting within the skin of a human. Like, that cockroach is fucking huge. Not that we know it's a cockroach yet, but how it fits in Edgar is insane.
I've been calling it Cockroach Man for a while. It's
Okay,
Cockroach
good.
Man.
They say that the MIB use alien tech in order to fund themselves. Is liposuction just how they get everything out then in order to fit themselves in? Oh, we'll give you this.
Could be.
I know you want me to go along with that thought, but that's too disgusting to press, I think.
Just wanted to see your face.
Everyone would look
Yeah.
like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but just formed out of fat.
This is a grim train of thought. I'm moving on. So the tentacle monster throws Will around, but then it gives birth to a little cute tentacle monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It throws up on
It
him.
throws up on him, on his only suit.
Let's hope he has a second, less suit he'll ever wear.
Yeah. Absolutely
He'll have
does
to
not.
arrest one of the other agents.
They're not working anyway.
All of the other employees in Men in Black are dry cleaners from all the goop. But then they head back into town, and Kay picks up. I'm really struggling between J and K. There's going to be a lot of umming and ahhing. Tommy Lee Jones picks up a tabloid and says, "This is where we get all of our leads because this is what reports the real news, all the true stuff." And he zeroes in on a story about a woman who says, "Aliens stole my husband's skin."
So what's the big fucking screen in MIB HQ for then? That's looking at all of the Earth.
Just looking at celebrities.
If they get their tips from
They got the tips from tabloids.
just crap like the New York Post.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
They developed the tech to zoom in on anyone on Earth at any point and then realised, wow, that's really useless.
Yeah.
Except for looking at this guy's wife. We only got the one drone and it's just on his wife all the time.
Oh, are you reckoning drone?
It absolutely is. This is the scene that Evan, you mentioned, where he zooms in, he zoom and enhances, and gets right in until, based on the camera position, it's 20 meters away from her.
I assumed that based on it being the 90s, it was just a bit like the massive things on the end of cameras, just going further and closer to her. To the point where there's just this massive camera lens sticking out of the sky 20 feet from her face.
I imagined it was more like Labyrinth, where a little goblin came up from the pavement and then turned on his GoPro for 2 seconds.
Well, there you go. We got 3 theories there.
Agent G.
Gary the Goblin.
Oh. Okay, so while all this is happening, while Kay's having a cheeky look at... I refer to her as his wife. She's not. She's a girl he was into 4 decades ago.
But she's never remarried, so must still be interested.
Absolutely.
Well, we learn at the end that she thinks he's in a coma.
Mm-hmm. Never visited him.
Or has she? And every now and again he just has to go and lie very still in a bed.
He gets like texts through when she's scheduled a visit and he's got to run off.
He doesn't have a home, he lives in a hospital. She can only visit at night.
So while this is all happening, there's an autopsy taking place on the alien print, and there's just some woman who's doing the autopsy. I don't know what her name is.
Linda? No, something
Let's
like
go
that.
with Linda.
Begins with an L.
Sure, why not?
Necrophiliac lady.
We'll get into that, yeah.
And she's opening up the body, and she's realizing there's no organs in there. It's all fucked up. It's not human. And then J and K show up. And obviously, since she's got the most fascinating thing she's ever seen in her career on the table in front of her, she gets immediately distracted and starts flirting with Will Smith.
She is the horniest woman ever to appear on a TV,
insanely
in a movie
horny.
screen. It's crazy. And to talk about what Carl was just alluding to there, after they're done flirting, it's cut off when she says, "Do you know what I like to do sometimes late at night?" And just before she can say, "I fuck the dead bodies," Kay comes over and interrupts them. Anytime there is autopsy stuff, every time she learns more about aliens, she gets hornier. When Edgar is holding her hostage later on and she's trying to tell Jay that he's beneath her, she's doing that in the horniest possible way. There are better ways to do it. And then she's annoyed at fucking Will when he doesn't know what's going on. Yeah.
She's got a corpse grabbing onto her leg. She is dripping.
That is her dream.
Oh no, we're mind melding, boys.
Oh, that horrible chemistry. So back in the original autopsy, she opens up... Well, actually, Will notices. She doesn't notice the weird ear on him. And opens up its face to reveal that there's a little alien inside that controls him.
What a fantastic prop.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
a really good prop. It's the little,
That is incredible.
animatronic little alien. I mean, maybe it's CGI. It doesn't look like it.
No, it's not much.
No, they made 2 like life-sized heads, small models, and then one like 10-foot tall one for the close-ups.
Wow.
It's very
Tiny
cool.
nipples. I can't stop thinking about it since Friday when we watched the movie.
On the 10-foot one. Pretty big.
Wow. The
Big
scale,
nipples on that
yeah.
one.
Multiple nipple sizes. It looks really good. And it kind of, as it's dying, because I guess it was alive the whole time up until now, and these are its last minutes of life.
It had to witness what she did to its body.
It had to stay there and, feel all of that. So in its last gasps of life, it is trying to tell them how to avoid interplanetary war. And it says, to avoid war, the galaxy is on Orion's belt. That's what it goes with.
Yes.
This cryptic shit.
Well, he only says belt because he read the entire dictionary, but that copy was missing the page with the word collar on because it's Will Smith who says belt. And then he's like, yeah, that's the one. That's what
this
I
movie
meant.
could have ended so much fucking earlier if it said on Orion's collar.
Yeah. Or the cat.
The cat.
They don't know its name.
Exactly. All he had to say was save the cat. That's it. But no, he goes with the cryptic bollocks.
Fuck that dude.
That is the entire premise of this film. That he decides to be cryptic, and there just so happens to be a constellation which has the same name.
Yeah.
Pure coincidence. I guess he doesn't speak great English. It's maybe.
He owns a cat. He should know the word collar.
He should know the word cat. So the galaxy's on Orion's collar. They don't get this. They have no idea what he's talking about. So they just wipe her memory twice.
Yeah.
And head off. Leave the corpse on the table.
Making her hornier every single time.
I've
I can
also
only assume.
noted that, yeah. So 1/3 of this city that Men in Black is based in is homeless people with amnesia who used to work at Men in Black, aliens, and just the horniest maniacs who keep having their memories erased.
I mean, she was already horny enough.
Yeah.
They just made it worse. They've left her horny in a room with a corpse, with another smaller corpse in it. So they head back to the office, leaving the corpse on the table next to her, but sending in some of the admin crew, some of the dry cleaners to sort that out.
We're going to have to go back in after they've left her alone with it as well.
Presumably. There's presumably a lot of cleanup to do after leaving
more
her.
goo.
And more, and more memory wiping, which just starts the whole horrendous sequence of events.
They all do
over
themselves.
Again.
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't fucked this body yet.
It's like walking into a room and forgetting why you've gone in there. You take the sheet off the body and you're like, did I fuck this one yet? I can't put him away till I fuck him, but I don't want to have fucked him twice.
But I am quite sore.
Oh.
Oh, and there's the bit we'll remember for this episode. Excellent.
Fuck's sake. They head back to the office, and no one can figure out what the cryptic clue is, but it doesn't matter because all the aliens are fleeing, and I think I wrote this down, the Archilian battle cruiser has arrived and is threatening to destroy the Earth in 1 galactic week.
Yes.
AKA 1 hour.
Because the little alien in the man suit was an Archilian prince.
And also something to do with the galaxy on the belt.
Oh yeah, they don't want Edgar to take that, so they'd rather destroy the planet and make sure they kill him and destroy the galaxy than him leave. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the stakes are vague, but they're there. So while they're doing that, the Mr. Cockroach Man is smashing up a jewelry shop, and then he shoots a guy who's trying to tow his car, and he drives away. J and K are also there, but they fail to stop him, and
yeah, Jay open fires alien technology on a busy New York street.
Because there's no fucking training, Evan.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair dues.
All he's been told is, welcome to day 1 of Men in Black. The world's ending in an hour. Here's a gun.
Here's a gun.
And then he fires said gun at the person
You're trying to destroy the Earth.
Well, isn't trying to destroy the world, but yeah. And then he goes, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
The world's ending every day. You never told me that.
This is my first day.
Maybe we can go over all this tomorrow? Oh no, this is my last day.
Also, when's lunch? I really need to get this suit cleaned, by the way. There was something sticky on that corpse. I really need to get this cleaned.
Oh, God.
So to get a lead on where the Cockroach Man is going, J and K go to visit Frank.
This is the best scene in the movie.
It's the best scene in the film.
Yes.
They go to visit Frank, who is a little pug that runs a newsstand somewhere in, I guess, Manhattan.
Did you notice how much more normal pugs looked in the 90s?
Oh, yeah, I had to Google if it was a pug. Because I was like, that's not what they look like.
And it's all Frank's fault.
Yeah.
Everyone saw Frank and went, I want a pug. And now we have the weird creatures of today.
Tommy Lee Jones shaking a pug for 2 minutes straight is the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen.
We get a lot of Tommy Lee Jones abusing a dog.
It is so funny. And it has to be a real dog being shaken. That looks so real.
So real,
oh, no.
doesn't it?
Well, yeah. They made sure that everyone knew no animals, not even a cockroach, were harmed in this movie because it does look real.
That's insane.
Even watching it, I knew that fact before we watched it, and I was still going, that's a dog. He is shaking a dog right now.
Tommy Lee Jones is shaking that dog. It's so funny.
I wasn't sure up until you said that. Yeah, I mean, thank God. But, yeah, crazy.
In the name of comedy, I'll allow one dog to be shaken by Tommy Lee Jones.
So Frank the talking dog lets them know what's going on, why everyone's leaving.
Yeah, the revelation just here is that the galaxy can be the size of a marble. And then Will Smith eventually comes to the conclusion when they get back to Men in Black that, he's seen something about that size.
Had it been on an actual belt, he would have taken it. Loves to steal clothes.
Slapping little handcuffs on the cat. I'd have loved to see that. And then Tommy Lee Jones can shake it. God, I hope there's a baby in number 2.
So we cut back to the morgue after this to catch up on Cockroach Man, who's killing David Cross, who's in this.
Yeah.
For about 10 seconds or so. He shows up, kills a cockroach, and the guy, Cockroach Man, doesn't like that, so he goops him to the ceiling and I think kills him.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, I think we can assume he's dead.
He looks pretty dead.
An insane amount of goop.
And then here we get the aforementioned scene where he's presumably walked into the morgue, hidden under a table, grabbed her leg, and then waited for Will Smith to show up.
He does throw her around the room for a bit.
Yeah.
Flinging her against...
Okay.
She is living her dream.
Oh, yeah.
For a while.
He's shaking her like a dog.
Just a rotten, flaking man flinging her around the room. I'm surprised he could keep a grip on that leg when he tried to hold it.
I was wondering why he didn't just kill her, but because of everything we know, it's probably because he thought she was a slug.
Some of this is getting cut, but I don't know how much.
You gotta leave all that in now. It's either you cut all of it, or you cut none of it.
Leave all of it. It's all or nothing. Jesus Christ. But he ends up hiding under the table, grabbing onto her leg when Jay walks in because he is, he's figured out that the cat is the key to all of this. The cat with the belt on. She tries to, as we've said, she tries to indicate to him that there's a guy under the table that is a corpse who's going to kill her. But she does that by saying that she wants to go on a date with him, and she's
riding too high after all that.
So she points directly at her vagina over and over again, saying, "There's something I need to show you.
There's something I need to show you. I'd like to go with you."
It's all right. She'll be wet enough to slide out of that grip in a second.
No, she wasn't until Will Smith showed up. He's too alive. Can you fuck off? You are turning me off.
Oh, is that your pulse I can see?
But after all of this, after all the flirting, Cockroach Man gets the cat, he runs over to him, he grabs the cat and he runs away and eats the galaxy, pops it in his mouth, and then he steals a taxi and drives away.
And how do we know that he stole a taxi, boys?
I think we can skip over that.
By some massive assumptions made by Jay. Yeah, people can watch and find that out for themselves.
You can watch and find that out for yourself. How Jay figures out that he's stolen the taxi. But we don't have time to get into that. So, they've got an hour to get the galaxy back. He's just eaten it. He's running off to steal a UFO, which has been kind of turned into a national monument or something.
I've got it written down. It is the World Expo Observatory Towers.
Perfect.
Whatever they are.
Thank you.
If you're American, you know what that is, and that's what we're talking about.
Americans know what that is. I don't. So
yeah, write in and tell us.
It's that. And those are UFOs, so he's running off to steal those and fly away. So J and K are heading after him. They hop in the car, press the red button, and then drive across the ceiling of the tunnel. It's a fun little scene.
Yeah,
it is.
Not much to be said about it.
Done practically.
They really drove
with
across
a model
the
of
ceiling.
that tunnel. Okay, with a model of the tunnel. They didn't actually drive across the ceiling.
Okay.
So they made a tiny model of the car, tiny model of the tunnel, tiny model of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in a car. Good. There's actually a good video on YouTube just showing you all the different models they used. Very cool.
I'm going to watch that right after this.
So they drive through the tunnel and get over to where Cockroach Man has now stolen the UFO and he's flying away. So they open up the boot of the car and get out two massive, alien Apple Store guns.
Very chrome guns in this universe.
Everything's very chrome.
Yeah. I mean...
Easy to make chrome look good in CGI.
We see the pictures from the 60s when MIB was first formed, and it's very B-movie aliens and B-movie flying saucers. So I assume they're kind of saying all that really happened, and this is a continuation of that kind of world where there were big shiny guns. Yeah, very Chrome.
Yeah, I guess so. But they get them out of the car and fire at the UFO, which is trying to fly away. So they fire at the UFO, immediately blow it up with a single shot, and it crashes down to Earth.
Tommy Lee Jones screams at Will Smith for firing his gun in public again.
Yeah.
Do you not remember your training?
So the UFO crashes, and the cockroach guy's fine. He gets out and just heads for the other UFO. There were two of them. No worries. This is the scene. We get the scene now that made me think of this in Spooky Week. They tell him, put your hands on your head. So he now looking properly like a mangled up corpse, puts his hands on the back of his head, and from the back of the head rips his skin all the way off, revealing the slimy, goopy cockroach creature that was hidden inside. Absolutely grim.
So grim. 3 things I want to touch on about what makes this good. Firstly, it's how Vincent D'Onofrio delivers the line just before he pulls the skin off. It's just awesome. Like all the way through,
like every line that he delivers.
So great. Yeah, but him cementing himself there as a proper scary villain, and something I remember very vividly from being younger. 2, I watched the pulling of the face off a couple of times, and that is a whole practical thing. Fucked. If you get a chance, go back and look at it. It looks like a real face. It's all stretched and seamed at the back and looks like rotting skin. It's awesome. And 3, God, that cockroach holds up for when this movie was made. It doesn't look awesome, but
it's not bad,
pretty damn good.
It's still terrifying. Yeah.
I feel like the usual thing with films of this period is you're like, oh, the practical effects are great, but the CGI really lets it down. Not in this case.
No,
that is far more of a mimic cockroach, if one were to exist.
Yeah.
Actually hides in human skin.
Yeah.
So yeah, he rips off the human skin, flings it aside, and I assume that our previously kidnapped morgue assistant then goes and grabs that. That'll be hers for later.
Yeah. Will Smith quickly starts pulling the clothes off it. They can work together on that.
It's alright, she doesn't want the clothes,
It's why they're such a good team. So I should have mentioned, she has been taken as a hostage by the cockroach, so she is there. But I think she's just been chucked in a tree at this point. She's not really doing much.
She just needed to be here to deliver the final blow in a second and be teased for the replacement for Jay in the next movie, which never happens anyway.
She's a fucking terrible choice anyway. When Will shows up to his job interview, they say you're here because you're the best of the best, like Navy, Marines, NYPD. They don't then go morgue assistants. Not quite the same, is it?
Necrophiliacs.
I actually took a look into why she wasn't in the next movie, and it's just because they felt like they couldn't write anything for her. They knew they wanted Tommy Lee Jones back, and that's kind of where it ended. But they wrote in that she just wanted to go back and she missed being a morgue assistant, which is why she was happy.
Know.
Yeah, which fits in with this so well.
I thought there'd be so many more dead people on this job.
No one for me to fuck here.
Anyway, so the cockroach, now just the cockroach, eats the guns that they had, and then Kay chooses to get eaten to get the guns back.
Yeah.
So he stands in front of it, really hopes that it eats him whole. Luckily it does.
Plenty of teeth to have chewed him with, but no, it just gobbles him like a snake.
Crazy that worked, but it did. And then it starts, it's not really that fussed with them. It only attacks them when they get in its way. It's then just walking slowly towards the other UFO that's there.
Yeah.
By the way, incidentally, it was already doing that. Just stand back. Let it go. You just shot one of them out of the air with your guns. Let it head up. Shoot the other one out of the air.
Shoot it again.
That's the only 2 on the planet. Just let it keep going until there are none left.
Also, where are all the admin staff from Men in Black right now? Surely you just send everyone to stop this cockroach, no matter if their agent let her. Send everyone with a gun. This is this guy's first day. At least everyone else there has worked at Men in Black before and have a vague idea of what goes on.
No, they're all busy writing the address on business cards. They have no idea how many they have to get through. All by hand.
I know the world is going to end today, but I really said to Zed that we'd get this done too, so...
I've got a quota to fill. I'm on annual leave.
I'm quitting at the end of the day. This needs to be done.
So he gets eaten to get the guns back, and Jay has to distract the cockroach to stop it getting up into the UFO. So he kicks open a bin that's full of cockroaches. Crazy amount of cockroaches in that bin, but okay.
None of them get hurt though, mate. Important to note that.
None of them get hurt. All off camera cockroach crunching. Just lots of crunchy noises while he stomps the ground. And then, so he gets the big monster cockroach back down, fighting him, gets thrown around a little bit, but then Tommy finally gets his gun, blasts the thing in half, saves the day. And then the woman who has now climbed down out of the tree picks up a gun and does the same thing again.
This movie keeps pretending to have ended and then doesn't end and then ends again.
I mean, we're about 3 final scenes deep now.
This movie opens and closes. That is it.
Somewhere in the middle, around the corpse fucking, it switches from opening to closing. And I've just lost where I am. Hold on, where am I? So
You sound like Agent... What's his name? Agent D?
Agent D. I feel like
Where am
Agent
I?
D today. I got no idea where I am. So she has blown up the cockroach, and then we cut back into it. Yeah, everything's wrapped up. Everything's all good now.
Mm-hmm.
The Archilians have left. Agent K has now explained. He said, "This was my last day. Job's yours now. You clearly still have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You've had no training. You haven't signed a contract, but fuck it. You and that mental woman over there, you two are our top agents now." And he wipes 35 years off his memory and heads up to assume that lonely, weird woman is still into it.
Take him back, yeah.
I assume he gets neuralized and then just comes back round and he's sat there in his underwear because Will Smith has taken his suit.
Well, Will Smith does try to make a change to the uniform because he turns up on his, assumedly second day with his now partner.
At some point in the last day, he's arrested a priest.
Yeah, horrible. I'm glad that does not feature in Men in Black 2 or any of the others. Just awful stuff.
And she, the woman who I still don't know the name of, and then she's also dressed like a Matrix reject. They both are. And then the final, so that's closing number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Closing number 4. We zoom out and zoom out and zoom out.
Oh.
And our galaxy is inside another marble with a galaxy in it.
Yeah. And that marble was just marble size. That was a power source that could be used to power an entire army, whereas this marble that we're all actually inside of is just a marble.
It's just a marble.
Insane.
A big alien is playing something with
Marbles.
And then all of that is in Bangladesh. Who's that reference for? Just you guys.
Absolutely nobody. Thank fuck. That's the end.
That's
the
the
last
end. That's
closing
Men in
scene.
Black, yeah.
Can I
That was it.
introduce you two to a very different version of this movie? Have you seen who was originally considered for the main 2 parts?
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Unfortunately not. I would watch that. So for Jay, they considered Chris O'Donnell, I think his name is, who was Robin in the Rubber Suit Nipples Batman and Robin movie from the 90s.
Okay.
All right.
Or David Schwimmer,
Wow.
Ross from Friends.
For Jay,
For Jay.
I could see that, because people think that Jay is playing the straight man who's kind of flabbergasted by what's going on. I think David Schwimmer would do quite well in that part. And he's got a bit more breadth to his acting than Ross.
That's fair. I mean, I hope he would still wear all the same clothes that Will Smith wore in this, though.
Oh, I would love that.
Okay. Yeah. Fund that film. Make that.
And they were going to have Clint Eastwood as Kay, which I know they wanted Tommy Lee Jones to play the straight man in this, but I think the extent to which Clint Eastwood would have taken that just wouldn't be funny.
Tommy Lee Jones was perfect for this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah, no one could have shaken a dog like him.
Clint Eastwood would have
Killed the
asked
dog.
for a real dog. Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah, insisted.
because he'd have also directed this. Insisted
Yeah.
on that.
And do you know who was considered to direct it?
No.
Quentin Tarantino. I would watch that film.
That would have been interesting.
All the aliens have really sexy feet. That's just what I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that would be like.
But there's bits in this. There's a running gag in this movie of Tommy Lee Jones referring to Will Smith as is it Agent Black,
Yeah,
and then
Agent
Dr.
White.
White.
Yeah.
It would have
Yeah,
been
let's-
far more on the nose if Quentin Tarantino made that film.
He would have dropped some bombs, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there'd been some bombs dropped. Yeah, they would have known that they'd stolen a taxi.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that does that wrap up the
I
trivia?
think that wraps up.
No, I've probably got another hour yet.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's get into some bad reviews, shall we?
Well, since I've cut out that hour, I can't really call it bad reviews. It's bad review, singular.
Nice.
I'll read it out. This one, it's a 5-star review, as usual. Will Smith should stick to Shark-type movies, as this is a pitiful attempt at a spiritual successor to Shark Tale. There isn't even a single shark in this movie. Hashtag not Shark Tale. And that was written by Shark Tale fan.
Well, I haven't thought about Shark Tale since it came out. That is crazy.
It's alright, nobody has. Except for Shark Tale fan.
Working at the car wash. It's all coming back now. Okay, well, that's bad reviews done. And that means we're at the all-important question, Samuel. And since it was your movie pick. So, do you think that was good, do you? Oh, no, that's not it. So you think that was good, do you?
Yes. That's it. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, it was good. Like, I mean, yes, of course, we've shat all over the film, as we tend to do.
Not fun if we
I
just
didn't
say we
think-
like it.
We
I don't
point
think the
out the
necrophilia
absurdity of their
woman-
universes.
We've pointed out the absurdity of the universe. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that doesn't really scan in here. Maybe not as big a fan of Will Smith as I used to be, but doesn't ruin the film. Tommy Lee Jones is amazing.
Awesome.
Vincent D'Onofrio, whatever his surname is,
D'Onofrio.
puts in such a good performance. It's crazy. And yeah, it's just good fun. The plot doesn't really make that much sense, but I don't think it needs to.
With lots
Cracking
of these
film.
movies from this time period, I don't think the plot needs to make much sense. They're just a good romp, aren't they? I can't really add
Yeah.
too much onto what you're saying, but just agree with you. Great movie, good fun. Vincent D'Onofrio, baby.
Carl,
Yeah.
anything to add?
Great film, good time all round. Thank you, boys.
Such insights we bring.
It's hard for the good ones. People know they're
It
good.
is.
Yeah. I love shitting on a movie more than I love loving it. And oh God, let's end this. I'm very tired. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you, boys, for joining me. That's fine. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and follow us over at So You Think Pod on Twitter. Sam isn't here next week, so we'll likely be doing something a little bit different. So keep your eyes out for that. Until then, goodbye.